Hello and good morning. Happy Labor Day, guys. Into Labor Day, it's Monday. And it's been a beautiful Labor Day weekend here on the eastern side of the United States. Um, I've promised everybody that I've talked with a follow-up video. I did an initial review of this particular grill shortly after I got it. Got it back in February, so I'm going on 7 months now. Guys, it is absolutely working phenomenal. The electronics on this thing have far surpassed anything I could have expected out of a $299 grill. Which, speaking about that, Rural King, and by the way, this is only available at Rural King. Rural King right now has got these bad boys for $249.99. That is an incredible price. Kind of sucks. I wish I'd have got mine now. But if I had I couldn't do these videos for you guys and let you know about these great grills. I think the price drop has something to do with their newer version of it coming out. I believe it's a little bit bigger in size, a little bit beefier. So that's exciting as well. This is going to be a three-part video, kind of doing a follow-up. Then we're going to have like a modification, the safety area, and then a grill comparison at the end. The condition on this thing has held up great. I just can't really complain about this thing. Now, all this smoke that you're seeing is going to be from some of the grill is actually producing that smoke, but I use a pellet tube in here whenever I'm doing long smokes. I just like a smokier flavor to my meat, so that is what I'm doing. Just quickly go over everything real fast in case you hadn't seen the first video. It's 700 square inches of total cook space. It's got a removable top rack. It's got 3 racks on the bottom to take out, drip pan, heat diffuser, and a built-in meat probe. A lot of grills at this price range used to didn't have these built-in heat probes. I'm starting to see more and more of them come out with them. They're kind of making them an just a built-in feature. A lot of these companies out here are trying to compete. So, not going to be surprising to see a lot of, updates, innovations, and things going forward in the future. Let's see here on modifications and safety. The modifications thing is what I had most questions about. And safety, I've also had a lot of questions about it. So, really both of them. My modifications are kind of simple, nothing too crazy. I do want to do some heat gasket on the lid, because you can see quite a bit of smoke coming out around the lid. But I like to do some heat gasket around the lid, and I'd like to kind of redo the heat gasket around where the hopper mounts into the barrel. Not that I'm having any issues there. I'm not having any smoke come through there. The only reason I want to do it is because I'm just a little OCD'd about that. The product I want to use is Lava Lock. It is a self-adhesive. A lot of reviews on the Lava Lock, people say that the self-adhesive ends up letting go after a little bit of time, so they recommend getting an adhesive glue to go along with Lava Lock. That way it stays in place longer. Either way to go with it, it'll be a great addition. The way that these lids are built on this thing, I think, is going to make putting that Lava Lock on very simple. The lid should close perfectly afterwards. If not, do a little bit of bending on the lid, maybe kind of re-bend these hinges just a touch, and make room for that gasket to go on there, no problem, and seal that little bit of a smoke leak up. The other thing I want to talk about is foiling your drip tray. It's kind of standard if you want your drip tray, to stay nice and clean. But it's actually a two-fold kind of solution deal. Not only does it keep your drip tray clean, but if you'll wrap your aluminum foil all the way around on both ends, on the left end down here, there is a slit in that tray to let heat go up and hit that temperature probe that controls the hopper. Guys, it lets too much heat through. If you'll wrap aluminum foil over it and cover that slit up, you know, all you gotta do is wrap the tray, cover that slit up. That will keep that heat from blasting directly on that probe. That will give you a whole lot more consistent of a temperature inside the grill, which is what we're all looking for. The other thing is foil in the drip bucket. You can see here I've got the foil on the outside of the drip bucket, and I've got some foil on the inside. The inside foil is because, well, the bucket leaks. It's never held grease very well. So I've got foil in there to help hold that. I've got the foil on the outside to help wind from pushing in the drip from the drip tube inside of the smoker. What that also does is help regulate inside temperature. Ever since I've foiled the drip tray and put the foil on the outside, blocking that wind from coming up in that grease tube, my temperature has maybe fluctuated 10 degrees up or down. It generally hovers around plus or minus 5 degrees, but 10 degrees is, I mean, that's plus or minus 5 from your set temp, or plus or minus 10 depending on. Also depends on how much wind you have outside and temperature outside, whether your cooker is directly in sunlight, if it's not in sunlight. There's going to be some variations there, but it does help with the consistency of the temperature. Now kind of let's go over on the safety side. Let's go up, start up, and shut down. I've just seen a review on Rural King's site where a person had give this thing a 1 star because it caught fire, burned up. Now it doesn't work. Now he's out of $300. Well, I have a hard time believing that Rural King, or any seller for that matter, Rural King's the only place I've ever seen these, but I have a hard time believing Rural King is not going to work with him, and the manufacturer's not going to work with him. So being out $300, I don't buy that. I would say what's happened, he had a hopper fire. Fixing to go over that. The startup and shutdown procedures are so important, along with talking about the backdraft situation that you could have if you leave that hopper door open. Don't leave your hopper door open while you're cooking. I've done it myself. I had started having some smoke come out of my hopper. Shut that lid. Guys, keep that lid shut. If you'll keep that lid shut, and you'll put that aluminum foil on that bucket right there on the outside to keep that wind from blowing in that grease tube, you're not going to have any more smoke come out of your hopper. Now, the startup side. When you start this thing up, follow the directions. Can't stress that enough. You kick it on high. You wait for the pellets to hit into the fire pot. As soon as they start hitting in the fire pot, don't keep running it on high and just let that fire pot fill up. Turn it off and then turn it back to smoke, just like the directions tell you to. If you continue to let, well, more pellets is better for startup, no, it's not. It is going to smoke like crazy. You're going to have an extra big fire in there. You could have problems. Follow the startup. Shutdown is just as important. These have automatic shutdown procedures in them. Built-in safety, they're good to go. All you do is you turn the switch to off. The fan on the inside of the grill will continue to run until it drops to a certain preset temperature. Don't know what that is. It knows at that point the fire is definitely out, and then it will shut itself off completely. Don't unplug this thing until it shuts down all the way and the fan kicks off. Once the fan is off, you can unplug this thing and you're good. Also, when you get done using it, take those pellets out of that hopper. Pellets absorb moisture like a madman. You leave pellets in that hopper, you put your grill out in your garage where it's nice, cool, and moist. Promise you, you're going to have a harder time starting this thing up. It's not going to burn properly, and you're going to burn through a buttload of pellets trying to get the temp. Not to mention, you could clog up your hopper. That's going to be kind of hard. You'd have to get it really, 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 really wet to do that, but it's still a possibility. Stay away from that. Extension cords. I've talked about this in my first video. I do run mine off an extension cord. I've had no issues. I've checked my extension cord so many times it's not even real. Checked for heat, because anytime you have a warm extension cord, means you're pulling too much power through it. So my extension cord I'm using, not a problem. It's around about 30 feet. I really wouldn't recommend using anything longer than that. The longer the extension cord, the more heat is going to, the more resistance it's going to have coming through, which is going to create heat. Heat creates fire because it breaks down the insulation. My particular cord is nothing super fancy. It's 14 gauge. It's rated for 15 amps, 125 volts, and 1,875 watts. So I hope that helps somebody if you're picking an extension cord. That's what I run. So that would be, I would suggest probably a minimum. If you want to go with something beefier than that, man, great. It's just going to work even better. The other thing is, last but not least, it's not on safety issue. I kind of forgot to stick it in the other area. Pellet tube. Man, if you want that extra smoke, and you can see all that extra smoke come out of here, pellet tube is great. It provides you constant smoke throughout. The way pellet smokers work is they don't smoke continuously. They only smoke after they reach a preset temp and they're starting to fall back down to your set temp. That's when they're going to smoke, is when they're at an idle. When that temperature drops down below and it's got to fire that fire pot back up nice and warm, the smoke's going to stop. So if you want extra smoky, I definitely highly suggest getting a pellet tube. That'll take care of that. Now, last but not least, grill comparisons. I did a quick search this morning just to kind of see what was out there. Just going to really talk about 5 of them. And it's 5 of them that most hits home for me. One of them we're going to talk about is Pit Boss, just because it's available at Walmart. Walmart's everywhere. So you're going to see, inevitably, Pit Boss somewhere. And all these grills I'm going to talk about, by the way, is the closest comparison in size that I could find with this particular smoker. Pit Boss comes in at $368, 700 square inches, so same size grilling area, with a 21-pound hopper. Now, the 217 Grilling Company Junior Pellet Grill, which is the one that you're seeing in this video, is the one I have. It is 700 square inches. It's an 8-pound hopper, and like I said, Rural King's got it on sale right now for $249.99. By the way, I know I mentioned Rural King a lot. I am not affiliated with Rural King whatsoever. I'm not a salesperson, not a spokesperson. I seen these grills a long time ago, and I could not find any reviews of them, so I went and bit the bullet and bought one. I absolutely love this thing. Another one I'm going to talk about is, I'm kind of trying to do these in order what I would rank from last to first, but these next 3 I'm going to talk about, they're probably really close to one another, so I'm not really going to rank these. I'm going to say the Pit Boss is going to be the closest. The Pit Boss is the closest as far as price to this particular grill. But the next that I'm going to talk about, let's see here. We'll go in price order. How about that? Is the Traeger Pro Series 22. It's $650. It's a 15-pound hopper, but it only has 572 square inches of cook space. It is a Traeger. I mean, it's a name brand. Now, when you're talking about, upgrading costs, you're upgrading the metal materials, and just different stuff. Performance-wise, I don't know if there would be enough there to offset the cost or not. Not putting any of these other grills down by no means. I'm sure they're great products made by great companies. But I'm just on here trying to save a man a buck and give him, a good idea of a good grill to get. Next one I'm going to talk about is Green Mountain, the Jim Bowie. It comes in at $799. It's 658 square inches with a 17-pound hopper. Then you have RecTech, which is kind of newer on the market, but they claim to be king of the hill. It's the RT700. Comes in at $1,199, 702 square inches with a 40-pound hopper. That's a little overkill, guys. 40-pound hopper. Come on. My 8-pound hopper that I have on here, I know I can smoke 14 hours, no problem with 8 pounds. Why do you need 40? I don't understand a 40-pound hopper. But hey, if you want a 40-pound hopper, there you go. Last but not least, my personal opinion, the grill that I would love to have more than any other, to me, it's the king of the crop, and that is Yoder grills. The YS 480S. They have a range of sizes anywhere in that particular model, from 800 all the way up to 1,070 square inches. The 800 square inch comes in at $1,579, and it has a 20-pound hopper. Now, when we're going back on price, the more expensive the grill, you know, you're going to get a thicker grade material. They claim, I mean, on those guys, you do get more fine-tuned adjustable electronics, I should say. A lot of those have plus or minus 5-degree increments as you're adjusting up, because everything's digital, it's push button, and all that stuff. Now, when you're talking about thicker grills, yes, if the metal itself is thicker, it's probably going to last a little bit longer, probably not going to break down as quickly. But it's also going to take a lot longer to heat up. Yoder, matter of fact, I believe it was Yoder, it said roughly it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to get it up to, you know, cooking temp if you're running indirect heat. Meaning, if you're going to smoke something, you're going to run it on indirect, because you don't want direct flames on something you're smoking. You're going to burn it up. On indirect heat, takes 20 to 30 minutes. That has to do with the thickness of the metal. It's called heat soaking. It's got to get all that metal hot before it can maintain that temperature for long periods of time. Now, that being said, yes, it takes longer to heat up, but your wind outside, the coolness of the outside, the different variations like that, even rain, is not going to affect the internal temperature nowhere near as much, because you do have that thicker metal. You do have all that metal holding that extra heat, so it's not going to hurt it as bad. But there's my review, guys. I hope this helped somebody. I hope it goes to answer some of the questions I've had from the people that's seen my first video. It's been a great grill. I've had it for 7 months. I love it. Continue to use it. Right now, matter of fact, I'm smoking a pork shoulder. I've been smoking this morning since about 4 a.m. It's going to take about 14 to 15 hours to get this roast done. Let's get a little quick peek inside. I just can't help myself. Ooh. Look at that bark. Oh man. And it's only been on roughly about, let's see here, we might be going on about 6 hours. Yeah, I believe it's about 6 hours since I started cooking. Roughly. Give or take an hour. Yeah, it should be about 6 hours. It's beautiful bark on there. Great smoky smell obviously coming out of there. Can't really smell much else but the smoke. But I look forward to it. Like I said, hope this video helps somebody. Hope it helps you. Get out there, grill, smoke something, stay safe. By all means, guys, follow the startup and shutdown procedures. I can't stress that enough. Happy grilling. Have a good day.